Well, what do you make of this Kyrie Irving stuff? This is quite a mess, and not surprisingly for the Brooklyn Nets. Tell us what you think. What winds up happening?
Well, first, great to be back with you guys. Hopefully, in the time that we tape this and it's released, the Twitter still exists. Elon Musk has not destroyed that social media apparatus.
Why don't we design our own new platform and get it out there quick?
The three of us do not have that kind of intellectual capability.
Other than knowledge and research, we have a chance.
Although the three of us may not have blown it up as badly as this guy has in the last couple of weeks. Bob, in all seriousness, there's multiple sort of ways to look at Kyrie. On the one hand, his acknowledgement of the worst of anti-Semitism is just, it's really gross. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. I mean, there are others who are going to be more thoughtful on this organization. When you put stuff out there like that on your feed, that does have significance. It does have meaning. Even if you don't personally endorse it, you're doing something by promoting it when you are that level of fame. And yeah, I agree with Kyrie when he said, call out Amazon Prime. Absolutely. I mean, they should be called out as well for putting that kind of garbage that all of us can access. But for so long, this guy has, at least from my viewpoint, this is not about basketball at the moment, it's just about him. He's so wedded to being a contrarian, or he's so wedded to being a nonconformist. It's like he's rebelling against rebellion. That's sort of his MO. And in some ways, it's probably fueled him to be a great basketball player, because in some ways he probably thinks the whole world is against him, and that fuels him. And he's an amazing basketball player, no question about that. So the Nets have a big issue, because this guy to me is he's an organizational killer, sort of chemistry wise, in terms of sort of what he does away from the court. And then on the court, obviously, when he's at his best, he's an incredibly gifted, all NBA level talent. He's getting older. He won't always be that. If I were the Nets, I would cut bait, as hard as that is. And you end up really asset wise, you've lost. You have to just accept that this did not work out anywhere we wanted. We will have been burned on all our trades when it came to accumulating, at the time, Kyrie, Durant, and Harden. Now Kyrie, Durant, and Ben Simmons. I think you just cut bait and you just sort of try to start anew, and unfortunately acknowledge that your plan did not work. I would not. He's not worth it to me to keep around, even if I know that he is the type of player who could have a 30-game stretch in the playoffs and you can win a title. I would not keep him around. And then once you make that decision, then you just try to make the best deal possible. By the way, I'm not so convinced there's a gigantic market for this guy, because anywhere he goes, and then I'll see to you two guys, anywhere he goes, the same issues remain.
Agreed.
He's taking him with him. So if he goes to the Lakers, or if he went to the Heat, he's all of a sudden not this, this guy doesn't become Steph Curry and just, embracing everyone and being great on chemistry. He's Kyrie Irving no matter where he goes. So if I was Nets management organizationally, I would try to cut him. Not cut him. I would try to find a deal to get him out of my organization.
Is toxic too a hard word, Richard?
No. Why would that be a hard word, John?
Because here's what's happened. Here's what happens in sports, and you know this, and so do you, Bob, is that there's always that one guy in management or ownership that says, we can make him better.
Yep.
We can fix him. All the issues he had in Cleveland, all the issues he had in Boston, go and play in Brooklyn, and he'll be fixed. And all it's done so far is exacerbate everything. It really has.
He's very lucky that Kevin Durant is a supporter of his, because usually, in almost every sport, and particularly in basketball, which is a sport really run in many ways by the best players in the league, the best player in the team, Had Kevin Durant just sort of been quietly went to the Nets ownership and said, like, I can't play with this guy anymore, that he'd be over. He'd be done. So he is lucky and fortunate that Durant still supports him, but I don't know how you can. I mean, I'm not an NBA player, so I can't really get into the mind of these guys. I'm never really going to sort of really be accurate here, but I think there has to be at a certain level, like a consistency factor. Like I have to know that player X is here, he's committed, and he's trying to get to the same place I'm getting. And Kyrie always just feels, as great as he is, it always feels like Kyrie is just trying to get to where Kyrie wants to be. And so he's already killed Nash's, basically, you know, that the players sort of killed Nash. Whether you think he's a good coach or not, that's just the reality of it. And just as a New Yorker, Brooklyn's a borough with a lot of Jewish people. New York City is a place with a ton of Jewish diaspora, right? I don't know how you make the sell as a professional organization in New York with Kyrie Irving on your team. So if you even want to look at it like optically or marketing wise, like why on earth would you want that guy there? So I don't see it, but the NBA has a history of players at that level of skill not moving because you can never get that player in return. Like you can't get equal value. It's just whoever the Nets get back will not be as good as Kyrie Irving. That is a fact.
That's a given.
Yeah, you can't get equal value. So,
but even more practical, I think, Richard. You know, the way the NBA CBA works and the cap works is it's dollar in, dollar out almost.
Right.
And the amount of money Kyrie gets paid, how many players are you going to get in return? I mean, that's why it was amazing the Simmons-Harden deal last year.
Right.
And it worked out. Well, in theory, on paper, it worked out for both teams. They got rid of one guy and got another guy back. But that to me, I almost think you have to put aside the whole concept of, is he a good player? Can he make our team better? Because those are different questions. But financially, I'm just not sure that anybody could have the appetite to go do that at this point, because you would, in theory, a lot of teams, you would just gut your team.
You need a team that matches up, right, John, where you have a very high priced guy who you don't want as well. And that's right. There's not many people in the NBA right now who fit that
Anthony Davis
criteria. But like, what if you're the Lakers? Why would you do that? Like, what is I mean, yeah, like salary as it works, but like,
I was just saying, could you imagine Russell Westbrook and Kyrie in the same backcourt? But I would assume Westbrook would be part of the deal.
Yeah, because of the contract. Like that at least makes sense in terms of two headaches for each other.